Good morning, everybody. I'm very pleased to be in Berlin, in front of you. It's a great honor because Berlin is part of our story. We were there in 2005, showing the first Veja, and we loved this city. So it's I'm a bit stressed to be in front of you, but I'm going to try to explain our story and where we come from and where we're going. So the guys there were a bit making fun of me because I'm not very, we're not very presentation guys. I have only 3 slides behind me, and no movie, no things, but I tried to explain it well. So we created Veja in 2004. The goal was to create the first sneaker brand that will respect the environment and the human beings that are in all the economic chain of the production of a sneaker. So at that time we were 25 years old and we were wearing Nikes, we were wearing Adidas, we were wearing like all the big brands, but we knew that they were not very well made. We knew that the environment was not respected in these productions. We knew that the human beings behind the one that you don't see, not Michael Jordan, not Cristiano Ronaldo, or not Gisele Bündchen, the guys that are, and the women, especially the women that were behind in the factories, in the Chinese factories, in Bangladesh, in Vietnam, in Indonesia, we knew that this reality was not shown. We knew that this reality was covered by advertisements, marketing, nice stories, nice movies, and we were 25 years old and we said, okay, we don't know anything about fashion, we don't know anything about sneakers except we wear them. We don't know anything about environment, ecology. We knew a little bit, but not very much. And we said to each other with my best friend Guilain, we said, let's try. We had the chance of making good studies, university studies, 6 years. We had the chance to speak 2 foreign languages. We had the chance to have parents with a stable economic situation. So we said to each other, if we don't try to make a project, a different project, who has the chance to try and fail? So we said to one another, let's try to create from scratch, from zero, a sneaker that would respect the environment and the human beings behind. So how do you do that? We talked a lot. We went over the internet. And we had the experience, we did a sustainable development project with big companies in France before. We traveled all around the world during 1 year, in China, in Vietnam, in Bolivia, in Peru, in South Africa. And we discovered what was sustainable development. Sustainable development at the time, and still today, is a speech, words, very nice words put on realities that exist or don't exist. So we discovered in 2003, 2004 that sustainable development was maybe 80% greenwashing. But what we wanted to show was the reality of a project. So we decided to go to Brazil, because Brazil is a country where there is all the raw materials we needed to construct this sneaker. We wanted to do a canvas sneaker like some of them are, like the white and blue at the top is like this. It's canvas. What is canvas? Canvas is cotton. What is cotton? It's a plant. It's 2% of the soil that are cultivated around the world, and is 30% of the pesticides used. So there is a problem with cotton. It's like really, really hungry. It's a plant which is really hungry with pesticides. So we said, yeah, let's try to understand cotton. So we went on field. We went to see organic cotton producers. What was the reality? What was the story? What was their lives and their economic lives? So we went to 6 cooperatives in Brazil. We visited them, like sending an email, making a phone call and saying, yeah, I'm French, I'm 25, I speak Portuguese like a Parisian guy, which is quite nothing. Can I visit you? Can I spend 1 week, 2 weeks with you on the organic cotton field to understand what you're doing? So that was our process. It was, we have 3 processes. It was go on field, go on field, go on field. And we discovered really crazy projects, really amazing projects. A project that was pushing agroecology, which is more than organic. And we decided, when we met those 30 producers, it was very small producers, agriculture, familiar agriculture, at a very low level of production, very low level of, it was 30 people, and they were making maybe 2 tons of organic cotton per year. And when we met them, it has been 6 years they didn't sell anything because they were out of the market, out of the communication chain, out of everything, lost in the center of Brazil. So I can show you, yes. It's the one, on the first on the map. So we decided we sit with them. We analyze their costs of production and we say we want to buy your cotton at 80% more than the market price, because without this price you're not going to make it. You're not going to be able to invest and to live through your culture. So this was the canvas of Veja. We went directly on field to buy the cotton. Then we made the threads in a cooperative. Then we make the canvas. Then it goes in the third in a Brazilian factory, shoe factory. So this was the upper, this in a sneaker, the up of the sneaker. Then you have the sole. So the sole, we said, everything is plastic today, but before, in the past, like the Converse, they were made out of rubber, of natural rubber. So what is natural rubber? It's the blood of a tree called the AVA, which grows into Amazonia, in the forest. So we went in the forest without knowing anybody, etc. We went to visit not plantations, but people living in the forest and living from the forest and protecting the forest. Meaning they are living in harmony without cutting the trees. And our dream, it was in 2004, 2005, was to say, if we valorize economically the forest enough, they won't have to cut the trees. They won't have to destroy the forest to make profits. And so we discovered this reality, which is fascinating, because the people we work with are, on one side, they are the guardians of the forest. On the other side, they are the destroyers of the forest. And our goal was to push them towards the guardian side, making enough money for them to be able to make the forest stand up. But we were 25 years old, we started the project, we started Veja with 5,000 euros, so everybody was laughing, everybody said, you're crazy, you have Nike, Adidas in front of you, you don't know shit about this fashion business, etc. But we said, okay, we try, leave us 1 year, we try. And so we went in the forest, we bought rubber. We bought wild rubber from the forest to put it in the sole. So at the beginning, the first Veja, it was like the sole of the Veja was 100% wild rubber. But the problem is when you walk with it, you stick on the floor. So it was not very comfortable. And we said, maybe we can mix. We don't do 100%. I was in the factory, in the shoe factory, saying, yes, do 100%, please, please, try. And every time they make a prototype, I was sticking on the floor and really sticking, you know, not a bit, like really. So today, one Veja shoe is is from 30% to 50% wild rubber from Amazonia. The rest is silicia, the rest is 10% of synthetic rubber. So there is a bit of petroleum inside, but still we're buying almost 100 tons per year of rubber today. So then we found a factory in southern Brazil. So why Brazil? There is nothing to do with China, nothing to do with Indonesia, nothing to do in terms of rights for the workers, in terms of wages, in terms of living conditions. It's the opposite. It's more like in Europe. It's more like the countries we know, like in Germany or Portugal or France. People have rights. They are almost 80% in union trades. Their week is like 40 hours or 42 hours, I don't remember, 40 or 42 hours of work. So it's a lot, but it's not 80 hours. They live in nice conditions. They don't live in the factory. They have personal houses in southern Brazil. Looks a lot like Germany or like the Swiss Alps, and that's why we chose to work in Brazil. I think the word for it is dignity. I was talking to an H&M guy 2 years ago, and I was saying, okay, you can do audits, you can do studies, you can do all you want. You can have 1,000 labels, but your son, if you have a son or a girl, would you send her in a H&M factory in Bangladesh? And the guy said, no, never. And I said, that's what we're doing. We want to buy the products that are well made. We want to buy products that we are proud of. We want to buy products that you can look at yourself in a mirror and say, it's okay. It's not damaging the environment, it's not damaging human beings. I'm proud of what I do. And I think that's the baseline of Veja. Then the 5 points, it can be something maybe that is not important, but for us it's maybe one of the most important. All the storage, all the dispatch of Veja, we started in 2004. It was like maybe 50 square meters, but it was done by an NGO of re-inclusion, taking care of people with big economic difficulties, big social difficulties, like out of the social life, out of a normal social life, problems with jail, alcohol, drugs. They all have their own story. And we decided to work with them, this NGO, and to give them all the Veja storage, all the Veja dispatch for them to learn this process. Today, they were at the office last week, and we're planning to take 5,000 square meters storage with them. Today there is 120 workers working every day for the Veja website, for the Veja wholesale. Wholesale is when you ship to stores, like in Germany, in the US, etc. It's a figure from last year, but 200 from 2 years ago, I think, 200 people found a job again, passing through this NGO since 2004 or 2005. So maybe you understand better now what is Veja. We don't do a lot of things. We discover projects. We discover companies, NGOs, and we are the link between them to create a product. We didn't know anything about organic cotton when we started. We didn't know anything about rubber trees in Amazonia when we started. We didn't know anything about shoes when we started. The thing is, we try to link all the projects together, all the beautiful projects together. So today, Veja is much more than that. We use maybe, I think, 10 to 12 ecological fabrics. which can be recycled plastic bottles, which can be that turns into a mesh, which is a technical fabric that we use on running. We're gonna use 3D printing. We use fish leather, which is usually a waste that nobody uses. We put it on sneakers, so it's upcycling. Our goal is always to go forward and to find more ecological materials. So we use leather. We have been doing vegetable tan leather for, I think, from 2008 to 2017, stopping 1 year. So it's 8 years. It's kind of difficult to use this leather. So there is a big debate in Europe about the leather. For us, there is not one path. There is, for ecology, there is 1,000 paths. And we want to take them all. We want to try. Because leather, with the cows, with making animals suffer, with the footprints cows have on the planet is huge. But is it better to use plastic or even recycled plastic? Because when you do the same for plastic, you go back to Iraq, you go back to Afghanistan, you go back to all the oil countries and all the oil wars and all what is doing oil today, because plastic is a 99% oil. So what I want to tell you is we have been trying for 5 years to replace leather. My partner is working really, he has been failing during 5 years to replace leather. And yeah, the good news is we found something. The bad news is I won't say everything, but it's out in January 2019, and it's something really that we are very proud of.